Do I want to apologize? I don't know, man. Honestly, I could. Like, I could do the entire song and dance. Oh yeah, I'm sorry for saying this about your guy or whatever, but like, I'll say the same thing that I usually say when meted with conversations like these. I trust my judgment. I trust the soul of the videos we make on this YouTube channel, even though I can say that I don't think my videos are particularly great. I still make these with an idea in mind that generally, in my opinion, is cohesive. And so every time we have spoken about this guy in the past few months or so, it's been in a very critical way. We're calling this guy out. We're saying that he's not as good as he thinks he is, or he's not as good as he was supposed to be, etc., etc., etc. If you go into my YouTube channel's archives and you take a look at the most recent videos we have made about Seattle Kraken forward Shane Wright, you'll find this. Is this the downfall of Shane Wright? From generational to the fourth line. This is embarrassing for Shane Wright. What happened to Shane Wright? Shane Wright, Shane Wright, Shane Wright, and it's all negative. Now, I have to be honest, I can't lie to you, but part of the reason we beat the Shane Wright is bad angle down into the ground is because a good portion of this fan base is Montreal-based, and what do Habs fans like to do? They like to gas up their own players, and they like to talk crap about players that aren't theirs, especially when it comes to a guy like Shane Wright, whose name was ever so linked to Montreal for months heading into the 2022 NHL Entry Draft, and who inevitably slipped down to number 4. It was one of the biggest stories we had seen in NHL Draft news in the past decade, pretty much. So for Montreal fans, anytime we make a video about Shane Wright, you bet your behind that Habs guys are going to be in the comment section debating whether or not their first overall pick was the right one and taking Slafkovsky. Anyways, because of this, we have made a few videos going over the downfall, the bad stuff, the questionable development of Shane Wright, yada yada yada. And I'm not going to lie, man, these videos do get a lot of views. It's kind of why I like to keep making them. But when there's a wrong, there's a right, and this is exactly what we're going to be talking about when it comes to Shane Wright, because just a few weeks ago, the last time we spoke about Shane Wright, it was in that downfall video that was published on November 20th, 2024. It's been a few weeks, and we are now changing the entire narrative. Because Shane Wright, 20 years old, 6 feet, right-handed center, signed on till the end of 2027 on his ELC, drafted by the Kraken in the 4th overall spot in 2022, has absolutely exploded offensively. Oh boy, it was a matter of time, wasn't it? Shane Wright, if you go back to November 25th, 2024, this stint, going back to the first game in a series of 2 against the Anaheim Ducks, Shane Wright has played 9 games, and in his most recent 9 games, the guy has 9 points. Okay, I'm starting to see you there, Shane Wright. He is a point-per-game guy. We can potentially exclude the most recent game against the Florida Panthers because that was a 2-1 shootout loss. Only 1 goal was scored. Not too many Kraken guys even got their name on the score sheet in that one, but Shane Wright has been scoring goal after goal after goal. In this stint of 9 games, the guy has 4 power play goals. And the best part about it is he's actually taken the title of one of the top Kraken guys in points in the most recent few weeks of play. For example, I have Jared McCann on my fantasy team. Sure, he might be leading the team in points right now, but Jared McCann only has 3 points in his last 10. Shane Wright's got 9. He's definitely been one of the more productive players, and it's especially prevalent on those special teams. If you head over to the NHL, you'll see that the Kraken are 17.6% on the power play. That's 24th in the league. Not great, but they have been a lot better recently. Like in this past 10-game stint where Shane Wright has started to score points, he has been the main trigger guy. And if you look at the breakdown as to where these goals are coming on the ice, you'll see a very distinct pattern. Shane Wright is putting himself in the perfect areas to receive cross-crease passes, backdoor passes. He is putting himself into quiet pockets of space on the ice and exploiting opposition penalty kills. This is exactly what made him effective in the OHL as a top-tier prospect, generational guy, quote-unquote. Okay, I don't think he was ever generational, but he was pretty highly touted. But it's because of this quality that he was able to excel. And we've been talking about this for years. What made Wright so effective was not his elite speed or his elite dangles or a blistering Austin Matthews caliber shot. It was the smarts. It was the positioning. It was the way that Wright never really looked tired because he never needed to exert 100% of effort because he was always so smart in positioning himself in the perfect areas to facilitate play, to make the best passes, to take the best shots, and to get the best opportunities. Wright read the game extraordinarily well in the Ontario Hockey League, and that transferred into higher levels of play like the Coachella Valley Firebirds, for example. He had 47 points last year in 59 games. It's just, to start out his Seattle Kraken year this year, the guy was on the fourth line, the guy was going through extended stretches where he wouldn't get any points. I mean, he went from October 19th to November 16th without any points, and he was getting some 12-minute games in there. That's a bad stint, for sure. But now he's in one of the good stints, and this is definitely a pattern that I think is probably going to continue up and down for the rest of the season. Maybe towards the end of the season he gets a little bit more consistency. I don't think that a 9-point in 10-game sample is really going to be sustainable in the short-term future. Like, long-term, okay, long-term is anybody's game. Shane Wright could be a 70, 80, 90-point player by the time he's 25 years old, and I don't think anybody would be too surprised about that. But for right now, he's definitely been on a hot streak. He's been potting in goals left, right, and center. Sure, he's not really shooting on the most sustainable shooting percentage. I mean, take a look at this. He's getting a goal and 2 shots, a goal and 1 shot, a goal and 2 shots, 2 goals and 3 shots, 1 goal and 1 shot in some of these games as of late. So maybe not the most sustainable stat line in the world, but certainly a lot better than what he had been doing earlier. And the best part about it is, or maybe not even the best part, but one of the aspects that you have to talk about is the fact that JURAJ SLAFKOVSKY is in the opposite boat. SLAFKOVSKY has 4 points in his last 10 games. Wright has 9, and Slav has been criticized a little bit the past little while for not really being all too productive and not bringing his best game. You could say that a lot of that has to do with deployment. The fact that he's not with Suzuki and Caulfield has been hurting SLAFKOVSKY and his productivity, but it's still an interesting talking point in the tug-of-war that is Montreal Canadiens' top pick prosperity, and what decision was the right one, Wright or SLAFKOVSKY, wrong or right. Turns out at this point, in the mid-November to early December part of the conversation, Shane Wright has been the right answer. The price is right in Seattle, folks, and I think this will certainly make that Wright-SLAFKOVSKY angle a lot more interesting. It's kind of funny how nobody's really talking about Simon Nemec or Logan Cooley in this context, but it's only really Shane Wright, mostly because of the surrounding discourse about that 2022 draft. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about Shane Wright and the way that he has progressed this season, how he is now looking so good comparative to what we had seen maybe just a month and a half ago. Things have really changed for that Seattle power play. You gotta give Jessica Campbell her props for being the main woman behind the bench in doing so. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Seattle Kraken and their power play, how Shane Wright has affected the overall product on the ice, and what he's looking like heading into the next few months here. So thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.